Hey, Matan, there was a couple things in class that we were curious about in terms of your PV, so I thought I would just look at it and then do a little video here. So let's go do that. The first thing I noticed was that you had, I deleted it already. Anyway, I deleted it. You had another building out here, and so when you would, if I would select, let's see, if I would select just the horizontal panels, they would be on that building also. So that was one thing. You had, I think, two sets of those panels going at the same time, which will, of course, mess up our calculations. Okay, so that's one thing. Another thing is that you, remember this is, so our PV panels are coming into here. This is just the geometry. Um, then here we have efficiency of the panel and the area of the panel. And so the efficiency I was setting at 20. I think you have it at 25, which, you know, 25 is kind of high. There might be panels that are able to do that now. I don't know, but I usually put it at 20. This is saying that of the sun hitting the panel, 20% is being turned into electricity, and that's, I think, a conservative number right now. Then area is the actual percentage of the area that you've chosen in the B reps that would be in your um, that would be producing that we're using as PV. In other words, that so we're if we let me go look at the let me make this clearer. If I'm here and I were to select all of these panels and I only wanted it to be because let's say because one way you'd use this is to do a quick estimate. So if I said I want this entire surface area of the roof, I'm just going to make a single surface and say, okay, this is going to be my PV, but I really know it's only going to be 20% of the roof. Um, well, I'm going to go and put those in here for now, just so I don't have to redo it. So it's multiple V reps. That then I said, okay, I picked the entire roof, but I'm really only going to use 20% of the roof. That's when you would call those 20. I think, if we really are saying that we're collecting, we're using all the panels that you've got drawn, then I think we could set this at zero point 0.7 or zero point 0.8 for sure. Um, because that's the percentage of the area. So the EFF, the efficiency, is the percentage of the sun hitting the panels that is turned into electricity. The area is the percentage of the area that's actually panels. So that's one thing that's going to make a change. Then I don't know why we have two shading contexts here, so I'm going to delete one of these, delete the other one, um, and then hook this up. I don't think you'd had your shading hooked up, maybe. This is, I think your square footage is correct. Um, I'm going to run it once without any shading. We'll see what we get. And this is just for the horizontals, 21. And then let's add shading. So we go back to that. So, oh, that's another thing I did is that I don't know if you even tried the shading. I couldn't tell if it, and that might have been another reason since you had the two. I don't know what would happen having those two hooked up together. But what I did is I actually exploded this building and because I'm looking at this, and so this is the north side, this is south. This is probably the only building that's going to affect, definitely nothing on the north is going to shade these. And we could check that by turning on our sun and looking at the year. And so in the morning, I'm looking at the year for the whole year. It looks like very little is shading this building. If anything, it's just this south side. If I go to noon, it's going to be probably the same kind of thing. It's just this one a little bit right down here at the end from this building. If we go to the afternoon, looks to me like again just the south building. I don't think there's some here from this building in the um, early morning, 8:30. So we can include that building too if we want to. I'm gonna turn this off because it's just easier to see. So I'm gonna select that. I exploded this building also. So now I'm just using these surfaces that I chose as my shading. So I'm setting multiple B reps here. Let's see what happens if I run this. And yeah, we're at 21, essentially the same, which I just think means that we didn't really get enough to affect it. We could check and see. Um, I'm going to take a screenshot of this. see if we get any difference when we try the shading. I mean, when we turn off the shading. So I'm going to clear the values, run this again. Here is, yeah, definitely. So this is without shading, and this is with shading. And we see that with shading, we have some differences in the amount of sun hitting the different panels. So they're not all, it's not all one line, whereas over here, it just looks like one line because since there is no shading, all the panels are getting the same amount of sun. So what that means is that there must be, it's just not that much, so it's not enough to make a full kBtu per square foot. So that's why I think we're getting the same amount here. So let's go ahead and go back though, just to be consistent and bring our shading back. Then I'm going to change my PV panels to the 30 degree. Let me select those objects. Oh, see, I've got, this is another thing you might have done. See how I have the context chosen and the panels? That's not, that would mess up my run, right? Because I would have them both as if those were all panels. So now we just select the 30 degree. And make those, I'm gonna just make sure to turn those off so they're not shading. I don't think they would be because I don't think they have a material applied to them. Or they're not identified as shading in this VREP. Okay, so we're going to run it again. And so here, and by the way, I must have run these before because that's why it said 11 before. So we're having a lot less sun hitting these at this angle. Um, and that's interesting though. Do we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Yeah, you have a lot more panels horizontal. So I think that by, so in other words, we have a lot more surface area that's in the horizontal. That's why we're getting a lot more sun there. Here, you're not shading each other, but you just have a lot fewer panels. So, you know, that would make sense to me. So this is all, I think it's reasonable, makes sense. I think you did a good job. I don't think you need to change anything. But I thought I'd let you, I know you tend to be trying to understand this in more detail and making sure that it's all accurate. So hope this helped. Talk to you soon.